Hi guys, it's day two of my daily C++ devlog. Yesterday we discussed about classes and objects. The class are basic blueprints and objects are initialization of class. But today I learned something even better. I learned about constructor and the importance of constructor in OOP. Now, constructors are basically bridging gaps between intermediates. And a real life example is imagine a company sentence where if a boss wants to pass down an information to an employee, he has to go through his secretary. Now, this kind of communication can be termed slow, and sometimes data can be lost when information is passed from the boss to the employee because of sometimes miscommunications and the secretary hearing something different. Now, imagine a situation where the intermediate is removed, which is the secretary, and the boss has to pass information directly to the employee without using the secretary. Information is better, communication is direct, and no loss of information by the employee. So this is basically what constructors do in OOP. They remove intermediate separate functions so that we can reduce the code length and average compilation time in programming. So think of constructors as a direct line of communication. Instead of creating an object and then calling a function to set its data, the constructor handles it immediately the object is born. This saves code, it reduces compilation time, and it prevents a nightmare that can make you forget to initialize your data and end up with garbage values. And in using constructors, there are rules of engagement. One, the constructor has to have the same name as the class name. Also, constructors does not have return type and they are triggered automatically. And constructors are not mandatory, but it's what separates a pro from a beginner in programming. I think it has to do with more of programming practice. Also, I looked at the reasons for constructors. Why are constructors so important in OOP? The reason is when you have many objects and many functions in your code, it becomes harder for the developer to remember which functions and objects are initialized. And when functions are not initialized, it leads to what we call garbage values that are stored on the system, which sometimes can cause program crash. And also, it's just easier and faster to initialize value using constructors. I also covered three main types of constructors. We have the non-parameterized or default constructors, we have the parameterized constructors, and the copy constructors. The non-parameterized constructor or default constructors is a constructor that does not accept any arguments. And most of the times when you don't define a constructors, then C++ compiler provides a default values for your constructors. The second, parameterized constructors. These constructors allow you pass values at the moment of creation to initialize your objects with specific data. Then the copy constructors. The copy constructors just allows you copy an existing object of the same class. Now take a typical example. You go into a store, you want to get a shoe. Now you saw a shoe your friend was wearing and you liked it, and you went to the store and you told the storekeeper you want to get a shoe, same one as your friend has, but without a sample. The storekeeper does not know what you want to get, exactly what you want to get. But when you go with a sample, he knows exactly what copy of shoe to give you. So that's basically what a copy constructor does. It just copies the value of an object and creates a new one from the existing ones. Then finally, I looked at constructor overloading. I think from the explanation, it is just regular functions that can have multiple constructors in one class. But I see I've not fully understood them well. Hi guys, I'm Chibike Mokwe, and this is day 2 of my daily devlog. My code is getting cleaner, my objects are getting smaller, and C++ is still hard actually.